Welcome to Lyrics and Layers. Today we'll be listening to Special by Lizzo. Special by Lizzo is one of those songs that feels like a hug after a difficult day. It's uplifting, but underneath the positivity is real pain. The song is about surviving criticism, loneliness, rejection, self-doubt, and still choosing to believe you matter. So let's get started. We'll listen to the entire song first, and then I'll follow with the breakdown. Lizzo opens the song by confronting the criticism and scrutiny that came with fame, especially online.
Special. Woke up this morning to somebody in a video talking about something I posted in a video. If it wasn't me, then would you even get offended? Or is it just because I'm black and heavy, y'all don't hear me though? I've been the same since I've been dropping slow on Bissonnet. Call up anybody I know and they will tell you that fame is pretty new, but I've been used to people judging me. That's why I move the way I move and why I'm so in love with me. I'm used to feeling alone, so I thought that I'd let you know, in case nobody told you today, you're special, in case nobody made you believe you're special. Well, I will always love you the same. You're special. I'm so glad that you're still with us. Broken, but damn, you're still perfect. Special. Could you imagine a world where everybody's the same and you could cancel a girl cause she just wanted to change? How could you throw fucking stones if you ain't been through a pain? That's why we feel so alone. That's why we feel so ashamed. You're special, in case nobody made you believe you're special. Well, I will always love you the same. You're special. I'm so glad that you're still with us. Broken, but damn, you're still special. You are so special. Hey.
When she says, "Woke up this morning to somebody in a video talking about something I posted in a video," she's describing the exhausting reality of waking up and immediately seeing strangers dissecting her life, body, opinions, or personality on social media. It reflects how public figures, especially women, can become constant targets of commentary. The next lines, "If it wasn't me, then would you even get offended? Or is it just because I'm black and heavy?" cut much deeper. Lizzo questions whether the outrage directed at her is really about what she said or did, or whether it's rooted in bias against her identity as a black plus-size woman. She's pointing out how confidence, sexuality, or boldness that might be accepted in others often becomes controversial when expressed by someone who looks like her. When she says, "I've been the same since I've been driving slow on Bissonnet," she grounds herself in her past. Bissonnet is a street in Houston where Lizzo spent part of her early life. She's saying fame didn't change who she is. Before success, before celebrity, she already had the same personality, confidence, humor, and spirit. Then, "Fame is pretty new, but I've been used to people judging me," reveals that criticism didn't start with celebrity. She's dealt with judgment long before becoming famous, likely because of her appearance, race, size, and individuality. And finally, "That's why I move the way I move and why I'm so in love with me," is the emotional payoff of the verse. Her self-love isn't arrogance, it's survival. She learned to love herself because the world often refused to do it for her. The line turns confidence into an act of protection and resistance rather than vanity. In the following verse, Lizzo admits that loneliness has become familiar to her, not just physically but emotionally. "I'm used to feeling alone," suggests someone who has spent a long time feeling misunderstood, isolated, or carrying pain privately. But the second part changes the tone slightly. "So I thought that I'd let you know," feels like a moment of honesty and connection. Instead of hiding that loneliness, she shares it openly with the listener. It's powerful because it reminds us that even people who appear successful or strong can still struggle with feeling unseen or emotionally alone. Then come the chorus. This chorus from Special is the emotional heart of the song. Lizzo recognizes that many people move through life without hearing kindness, encouragement, or reassurance often enough. When she says, In case nobody told you today you're special, it feels personal and direct, almost like she's speaking to someone who has been forgotten, overlooked, or emotionally worn down. The next line, in case nobody made you believe you're special, goes even deeper. It's not just about hearing the words, it's about actually believing them. Lizzo understands that criticism, rejection, and insecurity can slowly destroy a person's self-worth. So the chorus becomes more than encouragement. It's an attempt to restore confidence and remind people that their value doesn't disappear just because the world failed to recognize it. The next part of Special is incredibly compassionate because Lizzo acknowledges pain without letting it erase a person's worth. I will always love you the same suggests unconditional care. She's saying your value doesn't decrease because you're struggling, hurting, or imperfect. Then the line, I'm so glad that you're still with us, carries serious emotional weight. It feels directed toward people who've battled depression, loneliness, emotional exhaustion, or moments where they questioned whether they could keep going. It's a celebration of survival itself.
And finally, broken, but damn, you're still perfect, is the emotional resolution. Lizzo rejects the idea that pain ruins someone. She's saying scars, heartbreak, and difficult experiences do not make a person less worthy. Even damaged, even healing, you still deserve love, compassion, and to see yourself as valuable. In the following verse from Special, Lizzo criticizes a culture that punishes people for being different or for trying to grow. Could you imagine a world where everybody's the same? Points to how empty and unhealthy conformity would be. Differences, individuality, and personal expression are what make people human. Then when she says, you could cancel a girl because she just wanted to change, she's addressing how quickly society and social media judge people without allowing room for growth, mistakes, or reinvention. The line suggests frustration with a world that demands perfection while also refusing to let people evolve. Lizzo is defending the right to change, learn, and become a new version of yourself without being condemned for it. How could you throw fucking stones if you ain't been through her pain? That's why we feel so alone. That's why we feel so much shame. In this verse from Special, Lizzo calls out the hypocrisy of judging people without understanding what they've survived. How could you throw fucking stones if you ain't been through her pain? References the idea of people criticizing others while having no real understanding of their struggles, trauma, or emotional battles. The anger in the line makes it feel deeply personal and protective. Then she explains the emotional damage that judgment creates. That's why we feel so alone. That's why we feel so much shame. Constant criticism and lack of empathy can isolate people emotionally, making them feel misunderstood, unworthy, or ashamed of who they are. Lizzo's message is that compassion matters because harsh judgment doesn't just hurt feelings, it can deeply affect how people see themselves. Then we get the repetition of the chorus. What makes the song powerful is that Lizzo doesn't pretend hurtful words don't affect her. She admits they do. But instead of staying broken by them, she turns the song into encouragement, both for herself and for anyone listening. And that's the breakdown of Special by Lizzo. Thanks for staying with me to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Also, share in the comments your thoughts of Special and what it means to you. I'll see you next time.